If you have ever driven along the Esplanade in Chico, you've probably noticed a unique white home there. The lot was Daniel Bidwell's half-brother's. He's the half-brother of Chico founder John Bidwell. He built the home there around 1871. Now, pieces of that mansion are now incorporated into the Miller Mansion, which stands today. It changed ownership many times. It was even a bed and breakfast at one point. A Chico icon, Wayne Cook, who died last year, bought the mansion in 2019, putting it up for sale several months later when he got sick. Edward Niederpost bought it in February of 2020, and that's when things took a strange turn. Action News Now reporter Tori Apodaca digs into the mystery at Miller Mansion.
Behind the white fence here is rich history, and also some mystery.
He came to our house. We didn't know who he was.
Yolanda Niederost, wife of Edward Niederost, claiming Jean Coley swindled her husband into buying the Miller Mansion from Wayne Cook for $1.5 million. But Coley's wife, Candace, says that wasn't the case.
There wasn't any Jean convincing him. It was just something he wanted to do.
Took a line of credit in Wells Fargo, put down buying the mansion, but didn't have money to make monthly payments.
There wasn't any arm twisting about him buying different properties.
Was Yolanda out of town when the deal happened?
Yeah, I think she was.
The sale finalized on February 28, 2020, escrow closing just 7 days later. Jean moved into the mansion within a month, hoping to help Ed turn it into an event venue.
He took the mansion like his own place. He never asked I can live there or nothing.
The Chico ER wrote a story about Ed buying the Miller Mansion in March of 2020, identifying Coley as Ed's assistant and friend. The article said he lived there as an overseer and caregiver to 83-year-old Ed. The paper never interviewed Ed for the article. When Ed couldn't afford the first payment of nearly $5,800, Wayne Cook sued for judicial foreclosure. Ed responded with a cross-complaint, elder abuse. Court documents read up to January 2020, Ed did not know Coley. Then Coley started caring for him and learned the details of Ed's finances. Court documents also show that Ed suffered from an unknown cognitive disorder and couldn't manage his own affairs. He was put under a conservatorship. By this point, the world was on COVID lockdown, and Jean started renting out rooms.
They were unable to do events at that time. He said, and I want to help people while I can because, this is a horrible time. We don't know what's going to happen. It's safer for people to be off at the streets.
Jean reached out to Chico's vice mayor, Casey Reynolds. The two had worked together after the campfire to house people.
She was always calling Jean to try to place somebody somewhere. And that was part of where he found people.
All I did was let him know I knew a couple that was on the streets that was looking for somewhere to go, and I put them together as a contact.
Then more people started renting out rooms.
Like a nice little home for everybody. There were some little kids living there.
But other people who lived there tell me a different story.
These were, people right out of homeless camps.
Christine Bonenfant recounting to me her daughter's brief time living at the mansion.
Some of the people there that he brought in off the street were raging alcoholics. So there was, I was fearful for her safety.
Things went really weird and south, and I started getting weird random texts from Jean, and I just completely backed out of the situation.
Wade Davis also moved into the mansion and began reaching out to Reynolds at all hours of the night about what was happening.
It became a very hostile environment.
Did you think of actually looking into any of the claims he was making?
I'm not a detective. I'm not a police officer. If he had severe concerns, he should take them to the police department. That's not, my job as a citizen or a city council member.
Jean's wife says they tried to give the Niederosts the rent money, but Yolanda says they never saw a dime.
PG&E bills $1,500, $2,000 a month in PG&E, paying landscaping. We were paying pool service.
Why did he move in there?
No, it was just Ed was trying to have somebody take care of the place because he couldn't.
The key players in this mansion mystery, Jean Coley, Ed Niederost, and Wayne Cook, all died in 2022.
The whole situation, looking back on it, is really sad.
The Niederosts eventually lost in court. They lost this mansion, and the judge determined their elder abuse claims against Cook and Coley was a non-suit. Reporting in Chico, Tori Apodaca, Action News Now, coverage you can count on.
Wayne Cook's family once again owns Miller Mansion. Wayne's daughter tells us they're hoping to restore the mansion to its former glory.